Hello, I want to take a few minutes today to share about being planted. When I say be planted, it means staying in one place. It means committing to stay in one place. And let's be honest, we don't like committing, or at least I don't. I don't want to sign up for that monthly mailbox subscription unless I know that I can get out of it anytime in the future for free. We don't like committing to things. How often has your friend said, oh, hey, there's this really great concert. There's this really great event coming up in a few months. And if you're not 100% sold on it, you kind of want to say, you know what? Let me wait and see if anything else comes up, right? We really struggle with commitment these days. We don't like committing to doing things because it feels safe to be able to say, you know what? I don't want to give you my word if I'm going to break it later. But there is something powerful and a really great feeling that comes whenever we do decide to make a commitment to something. And when I say commitment, you may think that I'm talking about marriage here, but what it means is being planted and committed into the house of the Lord. And God often uses in the Bible commitment and marriage specifically in relation to the local church. Now, the Bible uses the word church in two different ways. The first way means the universal church, as in the moment you gave your life to Jesus is the moment you became a part of the big church, the universal church. This is every person ever given their life to Jesus in history and all across the world. And this is the kind of church God is talking about in Matthew 16:18. He says, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. That's an example of that kind of church. But the second way the Bible uses the word church is in the local house, the local church. It's a specific group of people in a specific area, all connected together. This is an example of one church. This is what we mean by when we say one church. It's a local house. It's a local church. And this is the kind of church God says He wants us to be committed into and to be planted in. I love the way that it's put in Psalms 92:13 specifically. Those who are planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. Think of it this way. If we were to go out and plant a tree together today, and we put in all the effort to get it planted and watered, and we just wait for it to flourish, will it flourish if a month from now we decided to dig it up and move it into another place? Once or twice, maybe a few times that will work. But if we were to continue to uproot it and continue to replant it in all these different spots, there's never even given a chance, the poor tree, to be able to grow roots deep down so that it can flourish. Deep roots will keep it from falling over in winds. Deep roots will give it great access to water that goes deeper down. That's how it begins to flourish. And this is the way that we often see a lot of Christians. Let's just be honest. We've known a friend or a person who's in a different church, in a different house often. They just keep hopping around and replanting until it's just important to find the one that you're called to and to get planted and stay planted. Because I've seen many Christians, they get planted and they don't stay long enough for their roots to grow deep. And a wind comes and it blows them over. A drought comes and they shrivel up and they don't flourish because they never gave themselves the chance to be planted long enough to really begin to flourish. The longer you're planted, the more you will continue to flourish. God often refers to the church as His bride. That's what He talks about when having a marriage with the church. That commitment, as if it was His bride. What if in my marriage, I decided I wanted to stop serving my husband? What if in my marriage, I stopped showing up and coming home whenever I needed to? What if in my marriage, I didn't really show commitment? I don't think it would flourish, and we know it wouldn't. And that's exactly the way it is when we decide to make a commitment with God's local house. When we decide to get planted and to let our roots grow deep, we will begin to flourish. That's God's design for your life. He wants you to flourish in your home, your marriage, with your kids, in your job, your career. He wants you to flourish in every area of life. And he says the key to doing that is by getting planted and staying planted in the local house.